What if I told you that you are fighting a battle that has already been won? Yes, every pain, anguish, and struggle you face already has a solution, but maybe you just haven't learned how to access it yet. How many sleepless nights? How many tears shed in silence? How many times have you asked yourself, does God really hear me? What if the answer had been available all along, just waiting for you to take it? When Jesus said, "It is finished," he wasn't just concluding his mission. He was declaring that your deliverance, your healing, and your victory had already been secured. But then, why does your life still feel stuck? Because there's a secret that few people understand. It's not God who still needs to act. It's you who needs to align your faith with what has already been done. And that changes everything. In this video, you're going to discover something that can completely transform the way you live. You'll learn what Jesus truly meant by these words and, more importantly, how to apply them to change your reality. If you've ever felt exhausted from fighting without seeing results, then this message is for you. But first, let me ask you this. If God has already declared your victory, why are you still living as if you're defeated? Many people live as if they are still fighting a battle that has already been won. When Jesus said, "It is finished," John 19 verse 30, he wasn't just ending his mission on earth. He was sealing our victory over pain, fear, and condemnation. Yet, how many still carry the weight of guilt, financial struggles, depression, and sickness as if the cross had not been enough? The first step to living this truth is to understand that the solution has already been provided. It's not about asking for more, but aligning yourself with what has already been accomplished. Think of a prisoner whose cell has been opened, yet out of fear or ignorance, he remains sitting in the corner, chained to an illusion. How many people live this way today? The word says in Isaiah 53 verse 5, "By his wounds we are healed." Notice the verb, it's in the past tense. It has already been done. Healing, deliverance, and victory are not distant promises, but spiritual realities that must be accepted. Anxiety, despair, and worry are born from the lack of understanding of this truth. The battle is over, but victory must be lived. The key is not in fighting endlessly, but in claiming what has already been won. When you face challenges, don't ask, "How will I overcome this?" Instead, declare, "Jesus has already won for me." Stop begging for a blessing and start positioning yourself as an heir to it. This understanding changes everything, but it's only the beginning. The next step is to see this truth as an undeniable reality. Do you know what the biggest problem is? People say they believe, but deep down, they still doubt. They pray for healing, but continue to see themselves as sick. They ask for deliverance, but still view themselves as prisoners of the past. The second step to living out "it is finished" is to visualize victory as a present reality. Jesus said in Mark 11 verse 24, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Pay attention. Believe that you have received it. This means true faith does not wait to see in order to believe. It first sees in the spirit and then manifests in the physical. Imagine someone who has spent years in debt, struggling to survive. If someone told them their bank account had been filled with millions, but they refused to check and kept living as if they were broke, would that wealth make any difference? Of course not. This is exactly how many live spiritually. God has already provided healing, deliverance, and victory But because they cannot visualize this truth, they remain trapped in pain and fear. A mind filled with doubt becomes a barrier to the miracle. That's why Romans 12 verse 2 says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." If you don't change the way you think, you won't change the way you live. You need to see yourself healed, free, prosperous, and restored before any change appears in the physical world. This is the kind of faith that moves mountains. But visualizing alone isn't enough. The next step is to declare with authority, bringing this reality into existence. The tongue has the power to bring life or death. Proverbs 18 verse 21 states, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." This means it's not enough to just believe and visualize. You must declare with authority. When Jesus faced Satan in the wilderness, he didn't remain silent. He said, "It is written." Matthew 4 verse 4. He didn't just think the truth, he spoke it. In the same way, you must declare daily that your healing has already happened, your deliverance has already been given, and your victory is already a reality. Maybe you're wondering, but what if I don't see results immediately? That's where perseverance comes in. Abraham was called by God the father of many nations when he didn't even have a child. Even in his old age, he kept believing and calling the promise into existence. Romans 4 verse 17. You need to do the same. Speak with conviction. I am healed by the sacrifice of Jesus. My family has already been restored. My future has already been transformed. When you align yourself with this truth and act like someone who has already received the blessing, the spiritual realm moves in your favor. And here's the great secret. When you declare and act as someone who has already won, God honors your faith. It's not a matter of if it will happen, but when you will see the manifestation of what has already been finished on the cross. So stop waiting to believe. Start living as someone who already possesses the promise. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with this knowledge? Now you understand that victory has already been declared. Jesus did not just promise. He finished everything on the cross. So why live as if you are still waiting for something to happen? Those who apply this principle see real change. It is the difference between waiting for a miracle and living in one. When David faced Goliath, he did not wait for a new promise from God. He trusted what was already established. He declared his victory before even throwing the stone. You could do the same. Transformation happens when you declare and act according to the truth that has already been established. Remember the woman with the issue of blood. Mark 5 verses 25 to 34. She touched Jesus with faith and immediately received her healing. She did not ask. She did not wait. She took hold of what was already hers. The question now is, are you ready to live with this unshakable faith? Or will you continue carrying burdens that have already been lifted? If this message spoke to you, do not keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you want to keep learning how to apply powerful principles from God's Word in your life, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. May God bless you abundantly. And from this day forward, may you live as someone who has already won.